This is Rogers Redding, National Coordinator of Football Officials, and I'm back again with another set of plays that we put together for the fans and the members of the media. As always on these videos, we have some plays that I think you'll find of interest from a rule standpoint and from watching these from the point of view of the officials. I appreciate the feedback that we've gotten from the first set of videos a couple weeks ago, and I hope you'll enjoy these also. Okay, let's get right to the plays. On this play, you're going to see two fouls, and we'll have them highlighted for you. The first one is a holding foul by the offensive right tackle, number 74. You can see that he grabs the defender and just takes him to the ground, so that's a flag for holding. Then at the other end of the play, we've got a foul for defensive pass interference against the other team, and you can see this one where he clearly goes into the back of the receiver, not allowing him to catch the pass. Remember that the foul for defensive pass interference is an obvious intent to impede the receiver from getting to the ball. The other thing to point out here is that because these fouls are by opposing teams, they offset, and the referee makes a good announcement to that effect. And so whenever you have offsetting fouls, you go back to the place where the ball was snapped, you have the same down over again, and it's as if the play had never happened, even though there's obviously lots of action on the play. So defensive pass interference by the defensive team, offensive holding by the lineman on the offense, and those fouls offset.
Holding, offense, number 74. Pass interference, defense, number 12. The fouls will offset. Repeat fourth down. Wow.
This next play we have on here for a couple of reasons, not the least of which is the exciting finish to the play that you'll see when this ball carrier goes airborne. Notice that it's the fourth quarter. There's a little over 2 minutes left in the game. The team behind in the score has the ball, and they have a fourth down play with about 16 yards to go. So this is a big play in the ball game. So in order to keep the football, they've got to get a first down, which means they've got to get to the line to gain, which is about the 19-yard line. That means that the key decision for the officials to make is the spot of where the ball becomes dead. So you can see that at the end of the play, he goes airborne, does that incredible helicopter move, and then lands with his backside on the ground. Now the rule says that the ball becomes dead when the ball carrier touches anything but the hand or the foot to the ground. In this case, it's his backside. So the spot is going to be where the ball is when his backside hits the ground. It's not where his backside hits, it's where the ball is when the backside hits. And you can see here that the ball is right at about the 20-yard line. So they do a good job of getting this spot. Now you might wonder why Instant Replay doesn't come in to review this. In fact, Instant Replay did review it, but they didn't stop the game to review it. There's private communication through his headset between the referee and the Instant Replay official, so he gets confirmation quickly that this is a good spot. So that means that he did not make the first down, and therefore the ball goes over to the defense. This next play shows an example of an illegal blindside block. We're going to highlight the player for you. Notice that he attacks from the blind side and forcibly makes contact to the opposing player, knocking him off his feet. This is an illegal blindside block. So the rule is that if he attacks with forcible contact, and that's the context in which this block is made, then that's a foul. It is not targeting because it's not to the head or neck area. It's below that. It's in his chest and his shoulder. But the Rules Committee put this in as a rule this year because we're seeing a lot of these blocks. They're very dangerous. They're not targeting, and they're not dangerous in the same sense that targeting is, but it is a personal foul for an illegal blindside block. Not all blindside blocks are illegal. You can do this legally by not attacking and not making such forcible contact. But here's an example of the foul, the new rule for an illegal blindside block. Here we have an example of a block in the back. This foul has been a foul for a number of years now. You can see that the player on the offensive team, and we've got him highlighted for you, pushes in the back of a player on the opposing team right at the point of attack. By point of attack, we mean right at the place where the ball carrier is at the time. Now, this is a very effective block, obviously, in this play. but it is illegal because it is somewhat dangerous from the back. It is a block above the waist. If he had gotten at the waist or below from the back, that's called clipping. That's a 15-yard penalty. A block in the back above the waist is a 10-yard penalty. This difference in the penalties reflects the relative difference in safety of these two blocks.
Offense, number 86, 10-yard penalty, first down.
This next play is a punt, and it shows us an example of what we refer to as a dead ball foul. As the name would imply, that means it's a foul that takes place after the ball is dead, and these are illegal because they're safety issues. You can see that the punt receiver makes a fair catch, and then after the ball is dead, after he's caught the ball and completed that catch, a teammate of his comes in and hits an opponent from the back, knocking him to the ground, and the back judge throws his flag. Now, one of the things we tell officials is to have good dead ball officiating. That is to say, just because the ball is dead doesn't mean the play is over. So before they hurry to get the ball ready for the next play, we tell them, look around the pile, make sure that all the action is over, and that way you'll be able to see these dead ball personal fouls that are dangerous from a safety standpoint.
After the play, personal foul and necessary roughness. Receivers number 33. Half the distance to the goal, 1st and 10.
Here's a passing play where the offensive team is flagged because one of its linemen goes downfield on the pass more than 3 yards. This is referred to as an ineligible receiver downfield. The eligible receivers are those who are on the end of the line and those who are in the backfield, and their numbers must be outside of 50 through 79, that is below 50 or above 79. This foul is committed by number 77, so he is ineligible to be downfield on a pass. Now, number 67 also is probably downfield too much when the pass is thrown, but the foul is called on the more blatant one of these, number 77. Now, the philosophy behind this rule is something like this. When the defensive team sees these linemen coming downfield, they're going to assume this is a running play. And all of a sudden the pass is thrown, and so they're not prepared to defend this pass. So the rules do not allow for these ineligible receivers to go down more than 3 yards. So this is correctly ruled as a foul. And we're going to let you hear the referee give a very good announcement of this foul.
Ineligible receiver downfield, offense number 77.
On this punt, we have a number of things I want us to look at. Now, what we have here is a foul for an illegal formation against the kicking team. We don't see this foul on the video, but it's because they had more than 4 players in the backfield. And then at the other end of the play, we have a foul against the receiving team for an illegal block. And here's what you're going to see. The player who signals for the fair catch lets the ball go, doesn't touch it, and then he blocks against one of the players on the kicking team. Now, the block itself, there's not anything wrong with it, but it's the fact that he has signaled for a fair catch. He's not allowed to block at all. And so this is a foul for an illegal block. And here's where the complication comes in. Normally, if we have fouls on the two teams, they just offset and we replay the down. But in this situation, the receiving team has an option. They can decline the offsetting fouls. That is, they can say, we don't want those fouls to offset because we don't want the other guys to have to kick the ball again. So we'd like to ignore that illegal formation foul so we can keep the football. Now that's okay, but the trade-off is the penalty against them would be enforced, in this case, from the place where the ball became dead. And you can see that that's at about the 1 yard line. So that means they're going to be backed up way against their goal line. So it's to their advantage to let the fouls offset rather than to keep the football. Offsetting fouls means they're going to repeat 4th down, the kicking team's going to kick again, and it's all as if the play had not happened. That's why you see the referee waiting, because he's trying to get a decision from the coach of the receiving team as to whether or not these fouls are going to offset or we're going to enforce the penalty against the receiving team. And you can see that he does announce that the foul's offset and we're going to replay the down. So the offsetting fouls in this situation is not automatic. It's up to the receiving team as to whether or not they want the offsetting fouls or if they want to keep the football in exchange for having the penalty for their foul enforced.
2 fouls, 1 on each team. Illegal formation on the kicking team. Personal foul, illegal block made by the fair catch signaler. Those penalties the offset. Replay. 4th down.
Here we have an example of an obvious dead ball foul. You can see that the ball carrier is stopped. He stood up and being pushed back. You can hear the whistle blowing, and then you see one player just slamming him to the ground. So this is clearly unnecessary, and the officials correctly call this as unnecessary roughness. This is a dead ball personal foul, 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot, and it also includes an automatic 1st down. So it's a fairly expensive penalty, and it should be, because this is clearly a player safety issue.
A shortage of bad blood at times.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 42, throwing down the runner. 50-yard penalty
So
and
the body
automatic
slam.
1st down.
Well, that's it for this week. I want to thank you for watching, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks with some more plays. I hope you have great games this weekend, enjoy lots of football, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.